The wheel keeps on turning whether you have a position coach or not hired on staff, and that's what we're going to talk about here with Matt LaSerre, Warchant's reporter of all things, but today we're using him for the recruiting function because he got some awesome one-on-one intel that you can find right now at warchant.com with Florida State 5-star commits. That's right, the pinnacle of Florida State's 2025 class that has largely fallen apart is one guy who remains at the 5-star level. That is Solomon Thomas, interior offensive lineman, who was very, very close with Alex Atkins, now the former offensive coordinator, offensive line coach at Florida State University. Again, this is Matt LaSerre. To my right, my name is Tom Lang. You're watching Warchant TV. Hit the like button underneath the video. All right, Matt, so you got him on the phone for a conversation earlier today. Is that correct? Or was it a text exchange back and forth? How did you reach Solomon Thomas today?
Yeah, I got him on the phone. I was kind of surprised. I'm sure he's one of those guys who's really blowing up right now, especially with, again, his direct position coach being the one leaving. And he was already taking a few visits elsewhere. A lot of guys, a lot of schools was still kind of vying for his services. So I was kind of surprised when I was able to get that phone call.
Well, it's an important one because, yes, his phone is going to be ringing from schools, from other media outlets saying, hey, you interested no longer in Florida State? How about over here? He's going to be a very busy guy. One of the quotes, and we put it out on social media, so subscribers can read the whole thing and the entirety, but the quote that stood out to me, I edited this thing and I said, whoa. Quote, I believe in the vision that Florida State has given me. I believe in the vision that Florida State has given me is what Solomon Thomas said. Might be interesting to those of you out there that might have seen his tweets earlier today, which rang of frustration. But how do you jive those two things, Matt? Because, again, around 3 o'clock this afternoon, he said you messed up by firing Alex Atkins, just airing frustration. And then he speaks to you. He says he believes in the vision. So where do you think he comes out in all of this, the positive and the negative?
I think, and if you read the story, you see, I think he really looked elsewhere and saw other situations where you look at LSU with Will Campbell, the same thing happened to him with his offensive line coach. That might, for some people, that might be like, well, why is he comparing it to LSU when LSU was one of the last schools on his radar as well? I could see that. I could understand that, but still it goes towards his direct situation. I thought his tone was fine. I think if anything, he's still waiting to see who the next offensive line coach is. If that happens to be someone he doesn't like, Florida State still could lose him. But overall, I was very surprised by his tone and very surprised by the quotes that I got from him or what he told me. I even went on record last night in the reaction video to the firings that I didn't think they were going to keep him. But right now I'm trending towards that. That's probably more the case that he sticks.
Okay, so your mind has been changed, at least through this conversation at this point. We understand these things are fluid, and the next hire or how long it takes for that hire to happen. Mike Norvell said he'd love to have answers in place by December 1st, but that might not be realistic. Well, the signing period is December 4th, so things can change here. But again, another thing we learned from Solomon Thomas is not only is he staying in touch with Florida State, but he's staying in touch with his fellow compatriots in that 2025 class. All of the offensive linemen, the 4 commits, are at least on 1 or 2 group texts where last night when this news came down, they were in contact with each other. So I know you learned some things there as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Solomon being the highest rated or highest ranked recruit in this class, he kind of has to be the leader, right? I mean, he might not be the quarterback, but he's the one that everyone's going to look towards of what do I do. You even saw this when C.J. Wiley flipped. And when the pick for Trammell came out to UF, he hasn't flipped yet, or we don't know if he's flipping. But that when that came out, he said y'all hung on as long as you could. Some people got that rung some bells for some people, but to me that felt like I'm staying here. At that time, it was before the coaching changes. Mm-hmm. I'm staying here, but I'm still with the guys. And he kind of that message kind of stayed when I talked to him, because he said I'm not going to beg anyone to stay if they find a situation better for themselves. But I wanted everyone. He told everyone to sit tight. Let's weigh our options. Let's wait and see who they bring in. That was his message to the whole class. He said 1 or 2 group texts. I assume one that's with the offensive line kids, which is 4 of them in total, and the other one's with the whole class. I mean, when I asked him, it was mainly about the offensive line because that's what we're really worried about right now, right, with the recruits. Adam Fuller wasn't super close with any of the defensive recruits. Obviously, there was no wide receivers committed anymore. So you're really focused on that offensive line group. And Solomon really had no hesitation. He went, oh, we're good. We're good right away. And I was like, oh, really? Like, nothing? He was like, yeah, I kind of had to get some more out of him, but it was really right away. I was like, yeah, we're good. And right before we started recording this, Daniel Pierre-Louis actually put out a tweet saying he just wishes all the best for Atkins. There was nothing really about his commitment in there, but that was the last one we were kind of waiting to hear from.
So do you make of that there's a commitment to the program going on here? By that, I mean the university, or is it that when Mike Norvell did damage control, He made a lot of calls last night. I'm sure Solomon was at the top of the list. You don't need the On3 recruiting rankings to tell you that, Solomon's an important guy to give a phone call to after you make a decision like this. Do you think it's Norvell's pitch and the vision itself that might have kept Solomon from decommitting at this point, or what do you attribute that to?
I do think it's being committed to Norvell, because even when I was talking to him, he said how Florida State's always been there since the beginning from him. He really believes in Norvell's vision. And I thought about this earlier. If it takes you back to when he first committed, which was way over a year or maybe almost a year ago now, it was right after the snub happened. It was funny, I was actually golfing and I had to take the call from him to talk about the commitment at the time, but he wanted to commit because of the snub. And he committed a little bit after, but his motivation was like, I don't want this to happen to them ever again. And I want to help them for that. So if that's your mentality, then why wouldn't your mentality now be, I want to be a part of the turnaround. I want to be a part of the spark. That seems like something that would really connect with him if in the first place he committed because he never wanted the snub to happen again.
We're talking with recruiting analyst and team reporter as well, Matt LaSerre here on Warchant TV. I'm going to ask him about other recruit reactions to this news, because now we're over 24 hours at the time we're recording this from the news going down. It feels like it's been a week. There's a lot of news flying left and flying right, and that's why you want to join us here at warchant.com. Warchant TV is the free wing of the multimedia empire that is Warchant. But if you want to join warchant.com, the website today, where you can get intel with Matt LaSerre, Michael Langston on the premium recruiting board, you could ask them direct questions, get direct answers, get team intel, the coaching changes. There's a lot of stuff coming. Portal, high school recruiting, coaching changes. It is going to be one busy month and a busy year ahead for Florida State. So we've got this special called the 150 special, because it's $1 for 7 days of access. Why don't you try it out for $1 for a week? Give us a shot to earn your business. And if you stick around, the rest of the next year will be 50% off at warchant.com. So everything from team excellence, recruiting excellence, portal coverage that's coming up, signing day, the early signing period is less than a month away, and so are more coaching changes. Gene Williams said it last night, everybody, that he expects it's not just going to stop at 3. There's at least 2 more and maybe more than that coming for Florida State. That's how you get connected at warchant.com. So, Matt, I'm going to ask you about other recruit reactions. There is a piece coming to warchant.com later today. The Solomon Thomas news took precedence over a larger reaction piece on Warchant. When you have your crown jewel of a class, he gets to the front of the line. But what's the sense you're getting from 2025 kids or 2026 kids after this news came down? Because, again, coordinator firings are massive, and obviously it signals that there's more change coming.
Yeah, obviously it's a trickle-down effect, right? Even if it's not their direct position coach, it's still they're going to have meetings with them throughout the recruiting process because they're the ones who run the whole defense or offense. I honestly didn't come away worried from a lot of the reactions I got. There were a few where I said this last night. I felt like if you watched Tony Pollard when he found out Dan Quinn left the Cowboys last year, some of them I felt like I was telling him for the first time, which was a little weird. But if you actually look at them, like Brady Schmiegel, the quarterback, 2026 quarterback commit, said he's just trusting in Coach Norvell's plan. Tredarius Hughes, the 2026 safety commit, said it was definitely a shock, but he's fully committed to Coach Norvell's vision. What he was going to do with the program. So I think in general, we kind of got the feeling of what those phone calls that Mike Norvell talked about in his press conference today was he's selling him on his vision. He's trying to keep him locked in until the very least they get a new hire and see if you like him. Because obviously, clearly these commits are taking top priority over maybe targets or top targets, because you want to keep these guys in the fold and make sure they stay before you go out getting others.
Matt LaSerre giving us some one-on-one intel on Solomon Thomas. Hit the like button underneath the video for these insights, and remember to subscribe to Warchant TV. That's always free. That is always free. Hit the like button again underneath to find more Florida State fans who are looking for this coverage. Be on the lookout for more recruiting coverage too. Michael Langston going to have a video talking about the wide receiver position. Can Florida State get back involved with maybe some guys that fell off of their board and decommitted in the last couple of months because of a coaching change? That and more coming to this channel very soon. And again, give us a shot. $1 for 7 days and 50% off for the year at warchant.com. For Matt, I'm Tom. We'll talk to you next time right here on Warchant TV. And I'm sure more breaking news will be coming soon.